Hello everyone. Good evening. So I am back live once again before you from my page Manjur's English Solution. And as mentioned before, today I am going to deliver my lecture on behaviorist theory and innate theory of language acquisition. So these theories are actually included in the course Second Language Acquisition, Theories of Second Language Acquisition, which is part of the ELT and linguistic courses. So I do believe that students studying ELT and linguistics will definitely find a lot of things to cheer about in this session. So first of all, I would like to begin with behaviorist theory or behaviorism. Then I will move on with innatism or innate theory. So what is behaviorist theory? What does this theory actually talk about? Actually, behaviorist theory is invented by Ivan P. Pavlov. He introduced the theory. A Russian psychologist whose name was Ivan Petrovich Pavlov. In short, he is known as Ivan P. Pavlov. So he introduced the theory for the first time. Later on, John Brodus Watson developed it, who was an American psychologist. And later on, Buras Frederick Skinner, in short, B.F. Skinner, he established this theory. So the theory is often called Skinner's behaviorist theory, as another American psychologist, B.F. Skinner, established the theory, so he gets most of the credit. And the theory is known as Skinner's behaviorist theory. The theory is named after B.F. Skinner, as he has been able to establish it. We all know that before Marconi, our Jagadish Chandra Bosu, he actually developed the concept of radio, transistor or radio. But actually, Marconi gets the credit because he first of all established it. He actually invented radio. He is getting the credit because before public, he introduced that radio for the first time. But before Marconi, Jagadish Chandra Bosu developed the concept of transistor or radio, but he couldn't actually establish it or couldn't bring it before public, and that's why Marconi gets the credit. He got the credit, and we know that Marconi invented radio or transistor. In the same way, B.F. Skinner established the theory of behaviorism, and that's why he is well ahead of the other two inventors, Ivan P. Pavlov and John Brodus Watson. Most of the credit go to whom? As I have already mentioned, B.F. Skinner, Buras Frederick Skinner, American psychologist who has been able to establish the theory. So now what is this theory about? Actually, behaviorism thinks that a child's mind is tabula rasa. The theory has got two parts. Number one, it thinks that child's mind is tabula rasa, or blank slate or sheet of paper, and there is no pre-programming it. There is no pre-programming in it. I repeat, a child's mind is like a blank sheet of paper or blank slate of paper, and there is no pre-programming in it. This is the first concept of the theory, the first theoretical assumption. That means this theory considers child's mind as blank. There is nothing in a child's mind. It's completely blank when it is born. And the second assumption is language learning is habit formation. That means formation of a new habit. That means language learning is just like acquiring any other habit. It's like a habit, just like our food habit. We are habituated to eat rice from our childhood. That's why we Bangladeshis mainly depend on rice for food. But if we were served with cockroaches since our childhood, then probably cockroaches would have been our main food. but our food habit has grown in a different way. We are provided with or served with rice since our childhood, and that's why we are accustomed to eat rice. Am I clear? Rice is our main food. This is our food habit. But if it were something else right from the beginning, then our food habit would have been different. So in the same way, the language learning, according to behaviorism, is nothing but acquisition of a new behavior. That means the Arabic people, since their childhood, they are habituated to speak Arabic language. That's why they are speaking Arabic. We Bangladeshis are habituated to speak Bangla. We are trained in Bangla since our childhood. That's why we are being able to communicate in Bangla language. And the British, they are able to communicate in English because since their birth, they are accustomed to speak English. They are trained up in English language since their childhood. That is what this theory is talking about. Language learning is nothing but acquisition of a new behavior. So now how this theory developed, as I have already told you that Ivan Petrovich Pavlov, Russian psychologist, he introduced the theory for the first time. He did an experiment with his pet dog. He had a dog at his house and he actually did an experiment. He made an experiment on that dog. He served his dog with food. He started serving his dog with food. Food worked as a stimuli, and when the dog was served with food, it started salivating. It's the nature of a dog. When it is tempted with food, it starts salivating. Salivating means its mouth waters. When we see mouth-watering food, some kind of juice comes inside our mouth. That is called saliva, and salivate is actually the verb of it. So when dogs are provided with food, when a dog is tempted with food, it starts salivating. So when Ivan Petrovich Pavlov, the Russian psychologist, provided his pet dog with food, it started salivating. And he added a bell later on. He added a bell with food. When he was serving his dog with food, he was ringing a bell. And the dog was trained up like this. Like whenever it would be served with food, a bell will be rung. So the dog became habituated to that. It was trained up like this. And later on, after doing it for some time, for some days, he just started ringing the bell and the dog started salivating. The same amount of saliva the dog started to shed from its mouth as it used to do when it was served with food, when it was tempted with food. That means the dog was trained up like this, that when a bell will be rung, it will be provided with food. The dog realized it because it was trained up like this. Now it is time for his food. When the bell is ringing, that means it's the time for his food. And that's exactly how the dog was trained up. So here I repeat, he used food at the very outset. That was the stimuli, and the response of the dog was salivation. And later on he added a bell. When he was serving his dog with food, he started ringing a bell. That means food plus bell worked as a stimulus here, and the response was salivation. Later on, he only started ringing the bell, and the dog realized that it is time for his food. So just bell worked as the stimuli here, and the response was salivation. Similarly, a child is also trained up like this since his birth in its mother language. That's what this theory is actually talking about. Language learning is nothing but acquisition of a new behavior. Childs are also trained up with their own mother language since their birth, and that's why they're being able to produce their mother language. But this theory has got some drawbacks, which we will explain later on. Now let us move on with the next experiment of John Brodas Watson He was an American psychologist who developed the theory. I repeat, John Brodas Watson, who was an American psychologist. What he did an experiment on a child, a little child whose name was Albert. So Albert was not afraid of rats. When the baby Albert saw rats, it started to run behind the rat, and it started to catch it. Started to run after it to catch it. And what we see since our childhood, children actually do not have enough knowledge about filthy things. They put everything in their mouth, and even they put dirty things, filthy things inside their mouth without having any knowledge of those dirty things or filthy things. They think that everything they can put inside their mouth. They don't have any knowledge at the very outset. Similarly, Albert was not afraid of rats. It started to run after the rats to catch it. I have seen some babies running after cockroaches to catch it because they do not know, they don't have the knowledge after birth that cockroach is actually a dirty or filthy insect. We should keep away from it. It doesn't have that kind of knowledge at the very outset. Similarly, Albert didn't have that knowledge that rats are filthy creatures. We better stay away from rats. We shouldn't run after rats to catch it. But Albert was not afraid of rats. So what John Brodas Watson did, he started ringing a bell. When Albert was running after the rat, John Brodas Watson started to ring an alarming noise. He used an alarming noise to frighten Albert. When Albert was running after the rat to catch it, he used that alarming sound. So Albert got frightened, and he realized that he better stay away from rats. It's a filthy creature, and I must stay away from this dirty creature or filthy creature. It's harmful, it's violent. So that's how Albert was trained up, by an alarming sound, which was actually used by John Brodas Watson. He did this experiment on a child named Albert, as I have already mentioned. So this is how Albert was trained up, that rats are harmful creatures, filthy creatures, we should stay away from them. So similarly, in case of language acquisition, the same thing happens. I have already told you that language acquisition is nothing but acquisition of a new behavior. A child is trained up in its mother language since its birth, and that is why he is able to produce or utter his mother language or acquire his mother language. That is what this theory thinks, but this theory has got a lot of drawbacks, which I will explain later on. And now the next person who actually invented this theory, his name was, I have already mentioned, I hope you remember, B.F. Skinner. The theory is named after B.F. Skinner. The theory is often called Skinner's behaviorist theory because Buras Frederick Skinner, American psychologist, he established the theory. How did he establish it? What was his theoretical assumption? He talked about reinforcement and punishment. Two terms he used: reinforcement, number two is punishment. So this is the training procedure. This is how we actually train up someone or something or somebody. So how we train up? By using this technique of reinforcement and punishment. Well, have you seen a child that when it is able to produce language for the first time, when it is able to recite nursery rhymes or even some words, then what we do, we tell the child to repeat it, repeat that, and if he repeats it, we hug the child, we kiss the child, we provide it with some kind of reward. It may be hugging, it might be kissing, or it may be providing the child with some chocolates. This is how we allow the behavior. The child now realizes that if I repeat the behavior, I will be rewarded. And the child repeats the behavior. In case of language also. So that is called reinforcement. That means allowing a behavior. That is called the positive reinforcement. And disallowing a behavior or not allowing a behavior is known as negative reinforcement. That means if we allow a child's behavior or someone's behavior, that will be called positive reinforcement. But if we disallow someone's behavior, if we do not allow someone's behavior, if we try to prevent it somehow, that will be called negative reinforcement. I repeat, negative reinforcement. So similarly, in case of child, as I have already told you, when it is able to produce something or some language, then we hug the child, we kiss the child. If we sometimes say the child that recite that nursery rhyme, then it will recite and we will hug the child, kiss the child, or provide it with chocolates. The child feel encouraged. That is how we actually intrigue its behavior, encourage its behavior, allow its behavior. That is called positive reinforcement. But if we actually rebuke the child, if we do not allow the behavior, then that would be actually negative reinforcement. If the child says something wrong, if we try to correct it, if we say that no, you are saying the wrong thing, you are pronouncing it wrong, you are uttering it wrong, then the child will realize that this is not right. So we are not allowing its behavior. This is called negative reinforcement. So this is how child actually acquires their language. And the second technique is punishment. As I have already told you, that B.F. Skinner talks about two techniques. Number one is reinforcement and the other one is punishment. So how we would actually punish someone? Punishment is of two types according to Buras Frederick Skinner. Number one is positive punishment and the other one is the negative punishment. Positive punishment is good for language acquisition or allowing a behavior. But in case of negative punishment, it creates some kind of psychological barrier, some kind of pressure upon the child or upon someone. And this puts psychological barriers upon a child, and this is quite negative for language acquisition, and this is not good for language acquisition or acquiring something new or a new behavior. So I'm giving you an example. Suppose a child has not been able to complete a task in a school. In a nursery school, a child has not been able to complete a task. Other childs have been able to successfully accomplish their task, but one child has failed. It has not been able to accomplish the task that was given to that child. Then if we actually do not give him the tiffin period, I mean, if we say that you will not have any recess hour, you will not get the tiffin period because everybody has been able to do their task, but you have failed. So your punishment would be you will not get any tiffin period, you will not get any recess hour. Then the child will actually feel psychological pressure. Everybody is playing in the tiffin period or in the recess hour, having their food, but that child is staying alone. She is isolated from everyone, trying to complete its task. Then that will put psychological pressure upon the child because everybody is playing, he is not able to play. Then it will create psychological pressure, and this is not good for language acquisition or acquisition of a new behavior. Then what would be the positive punishment? Suppose everybody has been given everybody has been allowed to go home after school because everybody has been able to accomplish their tasks. But that child, if I tell that child that you have not been able to accomplish your task, so you complete the task and then you will be able to go home. So this is called positive punishment because he will definitely get some kind of punishment. Otherwise it will not learn effectively. So when the child realizes that I am not actually allowed to go home unless I complete the task, then the child will try to solve the issue, and this will not actually create any psychological pressure upon the child. So positive punishment is good for language acquisition or acquisition of any behavior, and the negative punishment is not good for language acquisition or acquisition of any behavior. So this is how this theory works. I have already talked about behaviorist theory. But this theory has got some limitations and some drawbacks, because this theory thinks that child's mind is tabula rasa. There is no pre-programming in it. It's completely blank, and language acquisition is acquisition of a new behavior. Whatever training will give the child will actually repeat it, and it will actually be accustomed to that behavior. Language acquisition is like that. But it considers child's brain, or it takes into account child's mind as a blank sheet of paper. There is nothing in a child's mind. That means this theory completely denies child's problem solving skills or creativity. But this is not actually true. Not all the children are born with the same capacity or same ability. Some children are meritorious, some children are not all that meritorious. So it is evident that some childs learn or acquire language quite earlier than other childs, because they are talented, they are creative, and they can learn things quite easily. So everybody's mental capacity is not the same, and this theory thinks that child's mind is tabula rasa. That means there is no pre-programming in it. And definitely there is something in human mind. That's why humans are able to produce and comprehend language. Because if we consider a monkey's brain, so if we try to train up a monkey and try to teach it language, then it will not be able to learn language or acquire language. So this theory doesn't apply to a monkey, because monkey's brain is also, if we consider monkey's brain as a blank sheet of paper, and if we try to teach the monkey language, train it up to learn a language or to acquire a language, the monkey will not be able to learn a language, but humans are able to learn language. So there is definitely something in a child's mind that helps it acquire its mother language. So this theory doesn't apply here as well. These are the limitations of behaviorist theory. This theory cannot actually explain how, without any proper training, I mean without the training of grammatical rules and regulations, childs are able to produce sentences, I mean their mother language sentences accurately. How they do it? They are not actually provided with any grammatical rules, regulations, or we are not giving them structures of language. We are not training them any structure. But how they are learning or acquiring their mother language so easily? There is definitely something in their brain, or some kind of device in their brain. So later on, after the discovery of innatism or innate theory, the efficiency of this theory, I mean behaviorism or behaviorist theory, gradually diminishes. This is also a theory. Behaviorist theory actually is also a theory of language acquisition, but with the advancement or invention of innatism or innate theory, the theory of behaviorism loses its appeal or loses its effectiveness, because innatism or innate theory surpasses the limitations of behaviorism or behaviorist theory. So what was innate theory or innatism? Well, innate theory was invented by Noam Chomsky. I think we all have heard of Noam Chomsky. He is an American professor of linguistics. He is an educationalist. He has got vast knowledge in all fields. He is a philosopher, linguist, and he has got knowledge in politics, history, in every field. He is a great researcher. He is a philosopher, I should say. And he is still alive, above 90 or 95, above 95 probably. Still he is doing research, attending conference. So he has got that spirit inside him still. So Noam Chomsky, the American professor, he actually invented the theory of innatism or innate theory. So what he thinks, what this innate theory actually talk about? Innatism actually talks about that child's mind is not tabula rasa. It's not a blank sheet of paper, which actually behaviorist theory thinks. So this theory is completely opposite to behaviorism or behaviorist theory. Innate theory thinks that there is a pre-programmed device in a child's mind. there is a pre-programmed device in a child's mind, which Noam Chomsky named language acquisition device or LAD. I repeat, language acquisition device or LAD, and that makes it possible for human child to acquire their mother language so easily. They do not go through any rigorous training procedure. They do not go through any rigorous training procedure to acquire their mother language. We don't have to give them any training to learn their language. They learn their mother language or acquire their mother language automatically, and they're able to produce correct sentences. How they do it? This is possible only because of a pre-programmed device in their mind that Noam Chomsky named language acquisition device or LAD. I repeat, language acquisition device or LAD. And Noam Chomsky also talked about UG or universal grammar. There is another device in humans' mind, that is UG or universal grammar. And for this device, childs are able to produce syntactically correct sentences. We don't give them any syntactic structure, that subject plus verb plus object, but they are producing sentences accurately, correctly, in the right or proper syntactic order. How they are able to do that? How are they being able to do it? This is possible because of UG or universal grammar, that is also postulated in human brain. That is what Noam Chomsky thinks. But after Noam Chomsky, Eric Lenneberg, another linguist, he talks about CPH, critical period hypothesis. I repeat, critical period hypothesis. This is also very important for innatism. That means what Noam Chomsky says, that LAD, human child has got LAD inside his brain, and that's why he is able to produce language or learn language or acquire mother language so easily. They do not need any training for that. And this LAD actually is activated. I mean, it actually remains active until puberty, a particular period of time. After that, the function of LAD gradually diminishes. I repeat, after a certain period of time, the function of LAD or language acquisition device gradually diminishes. And it is considered to be 12 years. After 12 years, after puberty, the activation or the function of LAD gradually diminishes. Then you cannot acquire anything, or then you cannot acquire anything subconsciously. Now you have to go for the learning procedure. You have to learn it. Whatever you have already acquired, that has been possible because of LAD, now you have to learn it. Now you have to learn everything. Now LAD will not work after 12 years. That is what Eric Lenneberg thinks, and he named this period critical period hypothesis, or CPH. Just like if we consider our mother language Bangla, we have already acquired many Bangla words, but there are a lot of Bangla words that we do not know. If we look it up into the dictionary, in the Bengali dictionary, we will find a lot of unknown Bengali words which we have not actually seen before. So why haven't we learned or acquired those words? Because within these 12 years, we have not learned or acquired these words subconsciously. We have not come across these words, and we have not actually acquired these words subconsciously. So now we have to learn it. So after 12 years, we have already learned something. We have already acquired something. Now we cannot acquire anything subconsciously. Now we have to go for the conscious process that is called learning. So after 12 years, LAD becomes deactivated and it doesn't function anymore. And now we have to learn. That is what Eric Lenneberg thinks. And there is another term that is very important in case of innatism, that is invented by Jerome Bruner. Jerome Bruner talks about LAS, Language Acquisition Supporting System. I repeat, LAS, LASS, Language Acquisition Supporting System. So how it works? Actually, if I talk about Tarzan actually was kept with animals. if we talk about someone who is kept in an island right from its birth, then what will happen? If a person is kept in an island and there is no people around, what will happen? Will he be able to learn any language? Because he is not having interaction with anybody in that island. He is completely alone, and he is kept in the island since his birth, and he has no people around him. So what will he learn? He will learn no language because he doesn't have any supporting system. You need some support from your surroundings. The people, I mean the Arabic people are learning Arabic language because all the people around that child is speaking Arabic language. So it has got the supporting system around as well. So it is not only because of lad. LAS is also important because the surrounding, or I mean the people around that person speak a particular language, and that is why you are able to learn or acquire that language so easily. But if there was no one around you since your birth, you are not able to communicate with anyone, you don't have that supporting system, then how would be able to learn a language or acquire a language? It would not be possible for you. So this is what LAS actually talks about. It was invented by Jerome Bruner. So as I was saying, so this is what innatism and behaviorism is all about. Innatism thinks there is a pre-programmed device in a child's mind, and that is LAD, which makes it possible for human child to acquire mother language without any training. Child do not need any training. It learns or acquires mother language without any training. So how is it possible? This is possible because of a pre-programmed device that is called LAD, which is postulated in human mind. And LAD actually gradually diminishes. I mean the function of LAD actually remains active until 12 years or puberty. After that LAD doesn't function anymore. Then you have to go for the learning procedure or learning process. And then behaviorism is completely opposite to innatism. Innatism and behaviorism, two opposite terms. Behaviorism thinks that there is no pre-programmed device in a child's mind, and language acquisition is like habit formation. So behaviorism is also a theory of language acquisition, but with the advancement or discovery of innatism, the theory of behaviorism loses its application or appeal. So I hope you understand. And I think you have already seen, but behaviorism actually is applied in many fields, because if we consider a dolphin, we have seen that dolphins are very much playful creatures, and dolphin shows acrobatic performance, and then its master provide it with food. Okay, so some kind of reinforcement is there. When a dolphin is actually showing acrobatic performance, then after that the master of the dolphin provides it with food. This is how the dolphin is trained up. It is reinforced by food, by fish. And similarly a lion is very, very powerful creature. It can crush human mind or human head, like it can crush human skull like an eggshell. So it has got that kind of strength. But why lion is actually following the order of a master in the circus? How it is possible? What makes it possible that lion is so powerful creature? Why is it actually bound to obey its master, who is a human? The lion is more powerful than its master, so why is he obeying him? What's the reason? Because the lion is trained up like this, through punishment. The ringmaster has got an electric rod in his hand. If the lion doesn't obey his command, he will actually give it electric shock. So the lion knows, if I do not follow what he orders me, then I will be given electric shock. So this is how the lion actually is trained up. So behaviorism, the theory of behaviorism, applies here. So, but in case of language acquisition, I think innatism is much more appropriate, as I have been able to explain the theory to you. because there is a pre-programmed device in a child's mind. Children do not need any rigorous training for acquiring their mother language. So how is it possible? This is only possible because of a pre-programmed device in their mind that is called language acquisition device, or LAD. I hope you understand. So that's all about today's discussion. I think I have been able to clarify these two theories to you: behaviorism or behaviorist theory, and innatism or innate theory of language acquisition. So that's all for today. In my next live session, I will come back again with something new, with a new topic. Till then, it's goodbye from here. Good night, and have a sound sleep, and wish you all the very best. Thank you. See you again.